It is the 41st millennium. Mankind battles for survival across the universe, besieged on all fronts by the heretic, the mutant, and the alien. In the grim darkness of the far future, there is only war. One faction of Space Marines stands amidst the chaos, the mightiest of the Emperor's warriors, and a beacon of light in the darkness. This legion, the 9th Legion of Adeptus Astartes, the Blood Angels. Good evening. It helps if I turn on my camera before I go live, doesn't it? Good evening. Yeah, we've got a new Combat Patrol datasheet that leaked today, or was shown today, or something. So it looks like there's no change really on Infernal Pistols. 6-inch D3 damage, Melta 2. And if you're playing Combat Patrol, I guess the captain that you get in the Combat Patrol needs to be built with the Mastercrafted Chainsword. Seems a little bit disappointing, the Mastercrafted Chainsword, but it is 7 attacks with damage 2. I guess probably going to be higher than Strength 4 when you charge as well, right? Because Blood Angels are probably still going to have some sort of +2 strength when you charge, but I suppose that will depend on detachments. Good evening, and I see there's a crap load of people in here tonight. Good evening, everybody. I was going to say, I'm going to try to say hello to everybody, but just everybody that's already here, including Phil, because you're a legend, Phil. Hello. No, everybody is a legend. Good evening, everybody. Yes, remember, if you are a member, you get a free super chat on every one of my live streams. All you got to do is press the little dollar button next to the chat box, and as a member, you will get a free super chat. They are apparently going to change it so that I can give gifted subs for free. I've heard that. It's a rumor, apparently, that YouTube are going to do, but they don't seem to have enabled it on my channel yet. So at some point in the future, I'll give some people gifted subs when they finally enable it for me. Okay, so yeah, good evening, everybody. We're going to get into 5 Blood Angels lists. That's usually what happens on the stream on a Sunday night. We'll be live for just over an hour, probably give every list about 15 minutes. If you want to get your list submitted, reviewed, whatever you want to talk about, then after the stream ends, put your list into the comment section of the stream, very much like your export from the GW app. I just need it in this sort of text format. Let me just move that so it's not being overlaid over by the chat. There we go. So yeah, I just need your list in a text format, and I'll go over it and I'll give you a review on your list. Typically, if you give me a list at the end of the stream, I'll get you in the next couple of weeks. That might change though with the new Codex coming out. So if you've been living under a rock, the Blood Angels release Codex, the box set is coming out for pre-order next Saturday. So that'll be Saturday the, 25th? No, 24th. So put that in your calendars now, next Saturday morning. I'm going to set up a community post, actually, that asks people if they are buying it and they're in the UK and they want to use Element Games, they can use my affiliate link. It's super appreciated, but you don't have to. So that'll be next Saturday morning, 10 AM. That's actually the same time as my daughter's football lesson, so I'm going to have to try and pre-order the box from the football lesson, so that's going to be a fun one. But I'll try. And then they'll be delivered 2 weeks from now. So it'll be delivered probably on the 7th of September. So the week of the 7th of September is going to be a pretty busy week, because I believe that we've got all the new Blood Angel stuff coming on the 7th of September. And I haven't got around to pre-ordering Space Marine 2 yet, but I did have it in my basket. How much is it? You can get it for 40 from Instant Gaming. Okay. Yeah, so it's the 9th of September. I might need to try and take some holidays from the work that week, because I want to play Space Marine 2, and I want to make a bunch of new Blood Angels models, right? Okay, I'll see. I'm gonna take a few days that week for sure. Okay, so yeah, that's gonna be a busy week. Space Marine 2 does look pretty awesome, though. I'm really interested to see how much Blood Angels customization we'll get in Space Marine 2, you know that? Because I know they're going to have like a whole multiplayer section and there's like skins and all that good stuff. What's the price tag on the box? Donald, we think about 150 UK pounds, but nobody knows. All we're basing it on is like the current value. The boxes, if you go to Element Games in the UK right now and go 40k releases, the releases that came out like last week, the Imperial Agent releases, like their battle box is 135 from GW and 108 if you get it from like a reseller. So you do get 20% off if you use the reseller link, which is it's a lot of money to save, right? 20% on £135. It's not an insignificant amount of money, like almost £30, yeah. I mean, that's almost another whole box of models, right? So we think it's probably going to be 150, because if you compare it to this box that has like a tank and like 20 guys and a couple of characters, you also have the Codex, you also have index cards as well, and you also have 4 upgrade sprues. So I think it's going to be 150. US, I don't know, maybe 250, 300. We are list reviewing Mitfats. I'm sorry, I got distracted by all the Blood Angel stuff. And apparently we're getting another preview this week about Blood Angels. So I'll try and make a quick video when Games Workshop talk about whatever. They're going to preview one of the new detachments, or they're going to give us a sneak peek inside the Codex at some point this week. So I'll get that. Why do you feel bad for GW retail staff? I think it'll be a little bit over 200 US. Yeah, so we are in a strange place, and it's hard for me to make tactics videos at the moment, knowing the new Codex is out in 2 weeks. So I'll try and figure out a weird tactics video, or I still need to make the video about the final game of the GT against the Orcs and how I actually won the GT. So maybe that's what I'll make this week. Okay, let's get fired into lists, and we're going to start with Logan. So he's got 2,000 points, Sons of Sanguinius list, and I guess here's the thing: once the new Codex drops, all the lists will be invalidated. So when the new Codex drops, then anyone that's got like I will just clear the queue of lists that are being reviewed. So basically, after the new Codex drops, everyone needs to submit a new list with a new points, all that sort of good stuff, because everything before will likely be irrelevant. So he's got Captain with a jump pack, a Chaplain with a jump pack, Lamartez, a Lieutenant, and the Combi Weapon Lieutenant. Right, so we've got 2 Assault Intercessor squads, and we've got 1 Impulsor. So I guess maybe it's Lieutenant plus Assault Intercessors and Impulsor, I'm not entirely sure. We've got 10 Assault Intercessors with jump packs, we've got 5, another 5 with jump packs. We got a single Ballistus Dreadnought. We got 20 Death Company with Power Fists and Infernal Pistols. I mean, this is going to be completely gone, so you're not going to be able to run these guys anymore. You've got a squad of Eliminators. You've got a Gladiator Lancer. You've got an Infernus squad. I was talking about this on stream last night. I actually don't know what an Infernus squad is good for and why you would run them. For 80 points, I think there's better options, be it Jump Assault Intercessors or Outriders. Or even Intercessors. I just don't see the strength of an Infernus squad, especially for Blood Angels. And then you've got the Outrider squad. Okay, so Eliminators, a Lieutenant with a Combi Weapon, and Outriders, and the 5-man jump pack are used for screening and secondary scoring. I mean, that makes sense. They're all good units for scoring. The Ballistus and the Lancer give me some heavy vehicle power from the backline, backing up with Impulsor. Each of the 2 Death Company and 10-man jump pack are the main damage dealers. One of the Assault Intercessors is with the Lieutenant in the Impulsor to establish control and objective, while the other Assault Intercessors look to score objectives and will kill scoring units. The Infernus Marines will hold the home objective and score secondary. Okay, I mean, I guess someone's finally, at least they've come up with an idea behind the Infernus Marines. I just think you'd be better with Infiltrators. Once I get my Intercessors built, I think I'll swap out the Infernus Marines to keep the objective scoring. Yeah, I mean, Intercessors are better than Infernus. I really don't see the strength in Infernus Marines in any way, shape, or form. Marius, you're an Ultramarines player. You see any strength in Infernus Marines? I guess at least you've got some stratagems that could buff them, right? Like you could give them extra AP with Storm of Fire, something like that. All the printed points in the book will be wrong. as has been the case this whole edition. So what do we do? We'll get an FAQ as soon as the Blood Angels Codex drops. There'll be an FAQ with new points, and that's the points we'll have to use, or the GW Apple update maybe, and we'll use the points from the app. Okay, I mean, I don't like a single Lancer as your fire support, so having a Lancer and a Ballistic Dreadnought is something. 20 Death Company Marines is very strong. I recommend probably going to battle with at least 15 of these guys, so having 20 is good. The Outriders are somewhat decent. Eliminators for scoring, fine. I think I would prefer a second squad of Outriders personally, but I mean, they're fine for scoring. Assault Intercessors, Jump Packs, fine for scoring. Assault Intercessors, again, fine. Impulsor with the Captain inside, or with a Lieutenant. I think you get more value with the Captain inside. I would probably actually lose like the Icon of the Angel enhancement here to replace this Lieutenant. Because Lieutenant gives you fallback and charge, but I think the Finest Hour Captain is just stronger. So I would probably, if this was me, I would probably lose Icon of the Angel and replace this Lieutenant with a Captain to get the Finest Hour. It gives you that sort of alpha strike out the Impulsor. The Impulsor is a good pick. So yeah, apart from the Infernus Marines, I think you want Infiltrators in a competitive list. And there could be an argument here to split up these Death Company, like, because you've got Chaplain leading one 10-man and Lamarta's leading the other 10-man. Keep Lamarta's leading the 10 and split the other one in 2 5s and just have one unled. Just make sure they're close enough to someone else. It makes them a little bit less vulnerable to blast. It gives you a little bit more options in terms of like where you can jump your units to. Even if they had 1 AP on those Flamers, that would make them playable. I kind of agree, Phil. I feel like if the Infernus Marines had 1 AP, I might consider playing them. But because was it you that said it last night on stream, Robert, that Infernus Marines are for testing paint schemes? With no AP, I just think they're garbage. Because there's too many good units that have good saves that they're just going to do nothing into. There won't be an update to points till the app till... So it might be 6 to 8 weeks. So we're going to be in a weird state of limbo, I guess. Justice Mobile. I guess we'll find out. Well, I mean, we'll all have to pre-order next week if we want the Codex early. That's kind of what has to happen. So next Saturday morning, you need to be setting an alarm on your phone. I think I'm going to do that right now. I know we're live, but just bear with me a minute because I have a memory like a fish. So that's going to be Saturday the 24th. I guess I'm going to set my alarm for 9:55 a.m. And I'm going to just put Blood Angels as the reminder. Okay. Yeah. So I'm going to be doing that from the football field, apparently. So, okay. This is a fine list. Maybe a tiny little corrections. Barely even what I would class as corrections. But yeah, I would... If there's one thing I would replace in this list, I would endeavour to replace the Infernus Marines. I don't think they have much play. Maybe they're good for kit bashing. Maybe it gives you 10 more bodies you can do something with. But in terms of like gameplay and their rules, I think they're just bad. I actually don't know what faction of Space Marines they're good for. I don't even know if they're good in that Firestorm detachment. I don't know if Firestorm was as popular maybe as Games Workshop thought it might be. Where is it? Firestorm. It's like an extra strength if you're within 12 inches, right? So your weapons have assault and they have an extra strength. I think you still get hit by the fact that you've got no AP and they're kind of garbage. I just don't think guns that have no, like 0 AP are very good this edition. I think there's too many things that have good saves, and I think assault cannons are a good example of that, or even heavy Gatling cannons are a good example of that, because like no one uses those weapons now, right? I know that assault cannons have dev wounds. I actually don't think heavy Gatling cannons have dev wounds. Maybe they've got 1 AP though. But yeah, I just think those are weapons that used to be somewhat decent and just nobody uses anymore. So yeah, an infantry can have to take a battle shock test. I think their secondary ability is kind of rubbish as well. I don't even know if I'd play Infernus Marines if there were 60 points, honestly. Is there a chance there will be another Blood Angels reveal tomorrow? I think it's unlikely. They said we were getting 15 data sheets. They said 3 were in the combat patrol. So I think it's unlikely. I think we'll see the combat patrol tomorrow, which I think is going to be that new captain. I think it's going to be 6 Angry Guard, and I think it's going to be 10 Assault Intercessors. Really annoying that all our box sets keep coming with Assault Intercessors, because people have too many Assault Intercessors, right? Like, or at least it feels like I've never bought a unit of Assault Intercessors, but I already have tons of them. Just because, like, I think you got 10 in Indomitus, and a lot of people, like, traded. Like, I traded all the Tyranids for more Marines. So I think I had, like, 25 Assault Intercessors. I don't know why. It seems like Assault Intercessors are just thrown in every box, and nobody needs them. And here's the thing. Having played Blood Angels, like, at a competitive level now for, like, 5 years, probably is how long I've been playing. At a competitive level. I was playing before then, but probably wasn't that competitive. So playing Blood Angels at a competitive level for 5 years, maybe like one time, like one tournament in 5 years. And yeah, I haven't been to too many tournaments in the last like 18 months since my second kid was born. I'm hoping to go to more soon, but regardless, I've still been to tournaments at least like a couple a year. I think this year has been the worst just because my kids have been very young and it's been difficult to get away. But never once have I needed more than 5 or 10 Assault Intercessors. Never once. Most of the time, not even 5, right? Like, I think I've been to a tournament where I've taken 5 Assault Intercessors. I think that's the most I've ever taken. I don't think I've ever taken 10. So, you know, like, I've got 25, 30 of them. Every single new box set has another 10 of them. The Combat Patrol is going to have 10. That FOMO box is going to have 10. You can't really field more than 5 Assault Intercessors. Maybe you can do, like, 10 of them in 2 Impulsors. But no one competitively is fielding more than 10 Assault Intercessors. So the second you've bought one of these boxes, all those Assault Intercessors are valid for conversions. Okay, ZZ Slipaway. He is a new channel member, so if you are watching ZZ Slipaway, even if it's on the replay, thank you so much for becoming an actual channel member. I do appreciate that. So he is playing he was playing 2,500 point lists, but because he only played every couple of weeks, but I think he's taken some criticism I gave him a little while ago, and he's going to aim for 2,000 points. If you get 2 seconds tonight on the live stream, guys, if you could just press the like button, it would be really appreciated. If you saw my list, you may see a funny use of the Intercessors. I think I saw your list, Blaze, but I think you'll probably be on the stream next week, because I already had 5 people for this week. So we've got a Chaplain with a jump pack with Artisan of War, so we give him some extra AP. If you are going to run a Chaplain with a jump pack, I really think you should drop the Bolt Pistol and run the Power Fist, because it just gives you options, right? Because it means, like, if you charge your opponents, you can either hit with you get 1 extra attack with the Crozius, which will be Strength 8 on the charge, or you could have 1 less attack with the Power Fist, but the Power Fist will be Strength 10, and the Power Fist will have more AP. So by giving him an Artisan of War, you actually have a -3 AP Power Fist, which is very nice at Strength 10, typically with +1 to wound, because he's going to be leading a unit. I just think that's much, like, having the... I know you have to give up his shooting attack, but I mean, it's a fucking bolt pistol, right? You never kill anything with a single bolt pistol shot. I think you're just much better replacing that with the Power Fist. So, Dante, as he comes, Lamartis as he comes. The squad of Intercessors, which can hold the backfield. Add sticky objectives. You got 2 units of Intercessors with jump packs. You've got a Battle Predator. You've got a Ballistus Dreadnought. You've got 6 Blade Guard. Interesting. So no one's leading the Blade Guard. Yeah, no one's leading the Blade Guard. Okay, so 6 Blade Guard. 10 Death Company. They'll be led by Lamartes. You've got the squad of Infiltrators. You've got a Redeemer, which probably the Blade Guard will be in. You've got 10 Sangry Guard, which is probably being led by Dante. So what's this other Chaplain leading? Chaplain with a jump pack. I guess he's leading a 5-man squad of Assault Intercessors with a jump pack. So that seems not the most optimal choice in the world, I guess. But maybe it gives the Assault Intercessors a bit... I mean, it does give them a bit more punch. They get +1 to wound and their Strength 6 on the charge. Wouldn't the Combat Patrol have Jump Intercessors now, though? I think it's got Assault Intercessors because I think it's got that Captain on foot. The one that I showed at the start of the stream, Highland. And I think that Captain on foot needs to lead somebody, right? So this Captain will... And it specifically says he can only be attached to Assault Intercessors. So I'm pretty sure the combat patrol is going to be, and Valrak already said, I was going to say, like, Valrak's been super accurate with some of these leaks, so he's getting inside information from somewhere, right? So Valrak said the combat patrol was the new captain, 10 assault intercessors, and 6 Sangre Guard. And because they've already said we're only getting 3 data sheets in that combat patrol, I'm inclined to believe him. I'm trying to think how many points that would be. A captain is like 100. The assault intercessors are like... well, the captain's not 100, is he? He's like 80, 85, 80, 85, something like that. So the assault intercessors are 150, so I'm inclined to believe that 6 Sangre Guard will be about 250 points. If you're trying to make a 500-point combat patrol, I think that would make sense. But, I mean, we'll find out probably tomorrow. Probably be back with a video tomorrow night. I know my last few videos haven't been super positive about the Blood Angel stuff, but I think it's important to tell Games Workshop that we're not overly happy with the genericification of our chapter. And I did a poll on my channel, I think I put it up earlier today. Was it today? Maybe it was yesterday. The weekends sometimes merge a bit together for me. When did I put this up? 1 day ago. Yeah, maybe it was yesterday. So like 2,500 people have voted, and like 47% of them are just say they're not excited about any of the new models. So basically 1 in 2 are not excited. So yeah, I think they've missed the mark there a little bit. So I think it's okay for me to say... that, you know, like, I'm trying not to be overly negative. I've already said I'm going to buy the new boxes. I'm just not going to maybe... Like, if the Sangre Guard models looked insanely good, then I'd be considering buying more of them, right? Because I think they look bang average. I'm buy 1 box of maybe just 3 of them. So I'm not going to buy the Combat Patrol. I probably wouldn't buy the Combat Patrol anyway, because it's going to have too many Assault Intercessors, and I already got too many Assault Intercessors. I've actually converted, I think, 10 of them into Jump Assault Intercessors. Still got too many. Why all the boxes have Assault Intercessors is beyond me. Okay, so this is actually going to be a very difficult list to play, right? And I'll tell you why, ZZ Sleepaway, this is a difficult list to play. Because you got 2 10-man bricks, which is the 10-man brick of Sangre Guard plus Dante. You got the 10-man brick of Lamartes plus his Death Company. Both those units do a lot of damage, but they're very not durable. So I'd be reserving both of them and probably trying to rapid ingress both of them. The Land Raider Redeemer is also difficult to play because it's a friggin' bullet magnet and it's got no invulnerable save. So into some enemies, the Land Raider Redeemer, if you fight against Knights and they've got a friggin' Volcano Cannon at AP5 or something, or you fight against Chaos Knights and they've got AP4 Melta, your Land Raider Redeemer is going to have a very, very bad day, and it is very, very expensive, and it's so expensive to lose. The Blood Angels Combat Patrol will have a unit for the leader. Adorable. Yeah, it will, Big Fatson, you're 100% right. I'll like your... apparently I can like your super chat these days. I don't know why I would dislike your super chat. I'll like it. Thank you so much for the $2. I do appreciate it. So yeah, you've got the 2 big jump units. You've got a single Ballistus Dreadnought. You do have the infiltrators for the backfield. I think a single Ballistus Dreadnought probably on his own is not ideal because it probably won't actually kill anything. If you're gonna go fire support, you probably need to have more than 1 unit, and this is why I usually aim for like 400 points of fire support. You need like 2 or 3 units that can actually focus down a target. Will everything be available to pre-order on Saturday? Thanks so much for the super chat, Maximus. 6-month membership, I appreciate it. Yeah, I believe everything will be available to pre-order next Saturday morning at 10. And if you are in the UK and you're so inclined to use the Element Games link, then you'll support the channel and you'll get 20% off. So with 20% off, I guess if you're buying the FOMO box plus 1 or 2 other models, you're gonna be £200. So you're gonna save like £40 if you use Element Games. Maybe you've got your own resellers in the UK that will help you as well, but I'm probably gonna use a reseller because £40 is. Hey, I'm trying to save the kid. Excuse me, I'm trying to save to take my kids to Disneyland, and that shit's so expensive. So yeah, I'll use a reseller as well. Okay, so yeah. I don't know if I feel like you need intercessors and infiltrators. Like, you take infiltrators to hold the backfield, then I feel like you don't need intercessors. I mean, you're not going to sticky the backfield objective because the infiltrators are going to be there and they're probably going to hang out there. So in this list, I'd probably look at changing out those intercessors, maybe for a unit of outriders. I'd probably split the Death Company. Sorry, no, I wouldn't split the Death Company in this list. I think you have to reserve the Death Company and reserve the Sanguinary Guard. And then you get a lot of value when you bring them in, but your Redeemer will be a tank magnet, a bullet magnet. And I think the Redeemer is possibly too expensive now at 285. Like, I would rather have multiple impulsors. Like, you can have 3 impulsors, which is like, how many wounds is an impulsor? Like, they're 11 wounds. So 3 impulsors is like 240 points. That gives you 33 wounds spread across 3 vehicles, all with 5 up invulns. And you've got, this list actually is like, you've got Blade Guard. I mean, I guess your intercessors in this list are pushing forward. But yeah, this list, I feel like, would need a couple little tweaks to be very competitive. I don't recommend running more than 1 10-man blob of units. And I think the 10-man with Dante is actually super difficult to play. I guess that's going to... Here's the thing, that's going to change. So Dante plus 6 Sanguinary Guard might be super hot in like 2 weeks' time. So it feels like moving into the new Codex, rather than trying to fix this list, because it's all going to be invalidated in like 2 weeks, ZZ slip away, what you want to start thinking about is like, get yourself like a second fire support unit that you can play with the Ballistus Dreadnought. I don't care what it is. It could be another Ballistus Dreadnought. It could be a Gladiator Lancer. Anything that can combo with that pretty nice to give you some long-range anti-tank. And get yourself some impulsors and start thinking about maybe getting rid of the Redeemer. And then figuring out what you can actually put in the impulsors, which is typically Company Heroes, Assault Intercessors, or Blade Guard. I notice you already got Blade Guard, so you're halfway there. So yeah, those are the things that I would suggest getting ready for the new Codex, rather than trying to necessarily fix this list. This isn't a bad list, but like, I just think that if you're running a Redeemer, it's a hard unit to play. Like, it's so hard to play that I actually dropped it. Like, I dropped the Redeemer because I felt like I couldn't be competitive with it. And maybe it was good 6 months ago, but I'm just not sure it's good enough now. Noble Actual, thank you so much for becoming a member of the channel. Nice to meet you. I'm not sure I've spoken to you in chat yet, but welcome. Please get yourself into our members-only Discord. You're more than welcome over there. £40 can get you another 10-man unit of Assault Intercessors. Exactly. All right, I see what you did there. So you could get even more Assault Intercessors by saving the £40. It could get you £40 could get you something useful though, like a second Brutalis Dreadnought or something. Pack says, sorry for the question, just turned into the stream. Did you think they will change the Death Company loadout with the 10 Power Fists and Infernal Pistols? Yes, I think 100% that loadout is gone. You're not going to see... Death Company are going to be an Eviscerator and a bunch of Chain Swords, maybe a Power Fist and a bunch of Chain Swords, but there is not going to be... And maybe like 1 Infernal Pistol every 5. I think they already kind of confirmed that the Sanguinary Guard are only going to be allowed 1 Infernal Pistol every 5 as well. So the age of the Death Company being able to have all those cool weapons is going to be gone. I'm like 99% sure of it. We might find out tomorrow because they're going to give us some previews this week, they said. All right, let's move on to Chase McLoud. Chase McLoud, he was in the chat earlier, so let's get into his Sons of Sanguinius list. He is playing Seth. I played Seth this week. He did really well, killed a bunch of Repentia, beat Sisters of Battle. It was nice. He's got Captain. He's got a Captain with a jump back. He's got a Chaplain with a jump back. He's got a Judiciar. He's got a Sanguinary Priest. So this is going pretty ham on the characters here. What's this? 90, 170, plus 160 is 330, plus 180. So it's like 510 points in characters. Quite a lot. Good. So I'm expecting very little melee range support because he's gone so heavy on the characters. You got 10 Assault Intercessors, most likely with Seth. You've got a squad of Intercessors to sticky stuff. You've got 5 assault intercessors with jump pack. You've got the 6 blade guard, most likely with Judasar. You've got the company heroes, most likely with the captain. You've got 10 Death Company Plasma Pistol Power Fists. You got 5 Death Company Plasma Pistol Power Fists. You got the double Gladiator Lancer, and this was kind of what we were talking about in the last list. Is like a Ballistus Dreadnought or a Gladiator Lancer, a good unit, but they really need to be running 2s if you want to see the best out of them. Howling Phoenix thinks it'll be 1 Eviscerator and 1 Infernal Pistol per 5, and that's about it. Yeah, that's most likely going to be true. I think they'll reduce the cost of the Death Company to make up for that Highland Phoenix, but whether or not Death Company are going to be so powerful anymore, I guess, is they're probably not going to be so powerful. I actually sort of wonder if we're going to see a swing here with the new Codex where people will want to run 18 Sangre Guard, like maybe that's where we're going. And maybe because it's less, it'll be more balanced, because like I've said for a while, Games Workshop have really struggled to balance Sangre Guard. It was like you either run none of them or you run 30 of them, and there was no in between. So maybe they've just sort of like cut their losses and said, lots of people want to run a lot of Sangre Guard, let's run them 18. Alright, Noble, sorry. I have a terrible memory, so you watch me every other day. Thanks for the support. I do really appreciate it. So you've got the Chaplain with 10 Death Company Jump Intercessors in Deep Strike and Reserve. You got the 10 Assault Intercessors plus a Captain and a Sangre Priest to tar pit an objective and hold some stuff up. You've got Seth with the Company Heroes and the Impulsor. You've got the Blade Guard with the Judasar and the Impulsor to throw into really nasty stuff. I actually really like that. I don't think I've seen many people put Seth with the Company Heroes, but I think that's genuinely pretty good because we already established that the Company Heroes are a super tanky unit. So what does Seth need? Seth just wants a blight of wounds, right? Like, Seth just wants to be with a squad that's going to tank a bunch of damage so that he can stay alive and keep swinging his fucking crazy chainsword at people. So, I really like the idea of Seth with Company Heroes. You've got 5 Death Company as a trade unit, and then you've got Intercessors to hold backfield and for stickies. I really like Infiltrators still as the unit to hold stickies for me. I just think the Infiltrators you put on the home field objective, you never have to worry about them. They're really handy. Intercessors are not too bad, but some armies can counter the Intercessors. You know, like if you're fighting Grey Knights, you've got problems here because they get the 3-inch deep strike, and then they just... If they deep strike a unit onto your objective, or if they deep strike one of those Dread Knights onto your objective, it'll kill so many of your Intercessors. Maybe even wipes the whole squad because you don't get any cover, and they're like AP2 flat 3 damage. Those Dread Knights are a friggin' nightmare to play against when they're teleporting in within 3 inches, and I guess that's why I. What's the profile of the Dread Knight's weapon? Let me just look at it. Yeah, it's this one. So it's a heavy side cannon. So they get 6 shots, 3 up ballistic skill, strength 10, -2, 3 damage. So I mean, if they teleport this in right next to you, you're losing like 3 or 4 of your Intercessors, and your Intercessors ain't doing much back to a toughness 8, 13 wound, 2 up, 4 up Nemesis Dread Knight. I think they would really struggle to do anything against that. And that's just the main cannon. It's got flamers as well, right? It's got... This model is equipped with Dread Fists. It can take the heavy side cannon, and it can take the heavy incinerator. What's the heavy incinerator? Strength 6 -1, 2d6 shots. Yeah, I mean it's a lot to. If one of these things teleports in on your Intercessors, there's a chance you lose the whole squad, right? Like it's pretty brutal. So that's why I think Infiltrators are really good. There's no fire support in this list, so it's not my... Oh, no, there is, sorry. There's the 2 Gladiator Lancers. Why am I thinking there's no fire support? I think it's just there's a lot of characters. I think a lot of characters tricked me into thinking there's no fire support. Okay, so it's 510 points in characters. It's 320 points on fire support, and then 160 points on transports. So I guess, like, you don't have as many units as you might normally have in another list because you're spending a lot of points on characters, transports, but you do still have 15 Death Company. You do have Blade Guard and Company Heroes. Scoring units might be the issue here, right? Like you've got the 2 Impulsors which can score. You've got a squad of Assault Intercessors, to score, and then there's no infiltrators for the backfield. So yeah, this list does have a few weaknesses. I do like the double impulsor, the way you've done it. Not many people have done the veterans and the company heroes. I just think you were going to struggle a little bit maybe in terms of having scoring units. And there's a lot of scoring to be done, I suppose, in 10th edition with actions and stuff like that. And also you might struggle a little bit with lack of like super stable backfield. Let's hope the current combat patrol doesn't suck, says Gary. I think we know what's in it, Gary. I think it's a captain, 10 assault intercessors, and 6 sangry guard. Left field question. Does the Death Watch veteran squad have utility for Blood Angels as a battle line? Do you know what? I must admit I haven't read too much. We're supposed to be covering Imperial Agents on Thursday night on my podcast. We were supposed to do it last week, but one of the guys said that we'd have a break last week. So I don't know if I can answer the question about Death Watch veterans. Is anyone in chat using Death Watch veterans? There's a good question. Blaze, thank you so much for becoming a channel member. Welcome, welcome. Please, if you just became a channel member, make sure you get into our members only Discord. If you can't figure out, if you don't have Discord, get it, I guess. And if you can't figure out how to get into the members room, you can just DM me, or someone will be able to help you in the chat. But yeah, get yourself into the members only room. Please try and do that. Yeah, the new captain is indeed, like, I had a picture of the new captain. I can put it up on the screen for a second. He is indeed 7 attacks, weapon skill 2 up, 4 -1 2. It's a mastercrafted chainsword. I think I predicted that it was going to be a mastercrafted chainsword, because it wouldn't make a lot of sense to give a captain just a regular old chainsword, because there's obviously power swords and power fists, which would be better weapons, and he still has the same finest hour. So I guess in combat patrol he might actually not be too bad, because you'd be looking at 10 attacks, and that's before a charge bonus. So if we still have a +1 attacks on the charge, then this guy could be getting 11 2-damage attacks. Yes, they're only AP 1, but hey, maybe there's a stratagem in combat patrol that gives you some AP, I'm not sure. Maybe if Death Company are like 90 points for 5, but I'm sure as hell won't pay 140 for them anymore. I think Death Company's points will be completely rejigged. I think the Sangry Guard points will be completely rejigged. They're completely different units, I guess, now. Just making sure I can submit my list correctly. I just replied to your most recent community post, but I didn't see any other submissions on it, so I wanted to make sure there was meshing up. That's absolutely fine, Cameron. Yeah, basically, if you post your list as a chat on the most recent community post or on this stream when it ends, I'll get you on in the next couple of weeks. So yeah, I probably only get about 5 list submissions a week at the moment, but here's the thing, it goes in peaks and troughs, Cameron, right? When there's a new Codex coming out, I'll get 50 list submissions in a week. So yeah, at the moment, because we haven't had any rules updates for a while, there isn't people aren't going crazy with list submissions. What's everybody's opinion on taking 2 gladiators? I think 2 gladiators is fine, man, but I wouldn't run 1. I prefer the Predator Destructor to the Gladiator. I think the Predator Destructor is a little bit more, what would I say? It has a little bit more utility, it feels like. But if you're just looking for anti-tank or anti-big monster, then I think the Gladiator's unmatched, right? Because it's got the baked-in rerolls, and it's got the potential 9 damage a shot, and it's got really good AP. Your tactics video this week should be a scoring units masterclass. Hey, Alex, that's not a bad idea. That's really not a bad idea. Thank you for the suggestion. Thank you all. Alex, you support the channel amazingly every week or whatnot. Thank you so much for the $4.99. I do appreciate it. Okay. The bot's about to read this. I think you've got to pay $5 for the bot to read it. So by paying $4.99, the bot is quiet. So fortunately, I saw it just before that. Infernal Pistol's looking okay, but the chainsword seems kind of pointless. Yeah, I don't think anyone's really going to want to build that captain with the chainsword. But I think if you buy him for the combat patrol, you're going to kind of be forced to build him with a chainsword, which is a bit weird. Okay, Elrask is our 4th list for tonight, and it is also a Sons of Sanguinius list. He put up a list. Do you know what? He put this in the comments. He said he put up a list 3 weeks ago, but he'd rather me review this one instead. I had a look and I couldn't find it. So I don't know if I missed that list, but regardless, whatever happened, Elrask, I don't know if it was my mess up, your mess up. I'm sorry that I didn't get your last list. So let's get into this list, right? He's thinking of using Terminators and 10 or 5-man squads in reserve to rapid ingress, Blade Guard and Company Heroes and the Land Raider to go up the main avenue of attack, and the Ball Predator in tow to create a Redeemer, basically, but with more wounds and utilities. Okay, let's get into this. Hold on, there is one question. Steve says, any advice for a new Blood Angels player who has just started collecting? I mean, if you don't have the units in the box that's coming out to pre-order on Saturday, Stephen, then I guess get that box. But if you're looking for a list of units that is safe to buy, that, like, if you're a brand new player and you're basically, I think after that new Phobo box comes out, right, the Fear of Missing Out box, the box that the Big Death Company box they revealed a few weeks ago, I'll probably make a video on. I know it's not going to be all that useful for existing players, so I'll try and crack it out quickly and maybe still have a tactics video that week. But I'll make a video that's like where to go for new players or what to buy for new players that are going to help you get forward the most in terms of joining Blood Angels and getting a competitive army on the table as quick as possible. Because yeah, I mean, if you're starting at square zero, it can be quite daunting, and it can also be quite time consuming to get a whole army on the table just to find out when you finally get there, oh, this army is not very competitive. I actually had a photo like from years ago. I don't know if I still have it. I'll need to find it, but it was like one of my first Blood Angels armies when I came back to the hobby, like let's say 2016. Like, I think I came back in 6th or 7th edition, and like my first army was an absolute mashup of just all the stuff that I had, and it was the most uncompetitive, worst army that you've ever seen, or that anyone's ever tried to play a game of 40k, and I probably felt pretty disheartened after the first few games because I just did, you know, it was just terrible. It was just absolutely terrible. So I get, like, new people coming in, it could be quite daunting. There's a lot to learn. There's a lot of different bits and bobs, I guess. So, okay. Enough of that. Let's get into this list. A captain and a librarian with a Terminator armor and Artisan of War. Do you know what? I love Artisan of War on this librarian and Terminator armor. I may end up making a pivot to run some librarians with Terminator armor with Artisan of War, because it depends on how badly the Death Company get hurt. And if we really need power fists and we really need reliable power fists, then Terminators might come back for Blood Angels, right? Rapid ingressing librarians with Terminator armors moving forward 5 inches, then charging, that could totally be a thing. And when we did the math, the librarian and Terminator armor is the best character to lead the Terminators because he gives them sustained hits both in shooting and in melee, and his smite is really good, and the Artisan of War makes his smite even better. And he also has he also gives the Terminators a defensive buff as well. So like he is just a really strong character to lead Terminators with. Assault Intercessor with the jump packs 10, 5, and 5. Ball Predator, Ballistus Dreadnought, 6 Blade Guard, the Company Heroes again. It's nice to see, like, a lot of people have started running Company Heroes, right? Before my tournament list came out, not many people were running these. So I don't know if I had any bearing on this, but it's nice to see a lot of people shifting and giving Company Heroes some love. We've got Infiltrator Squad, we've got Land Raider, we've got Outriders, we've got that lovely Predator Destructor, but there is only one of them. But I guess it's comboed with a Land Raider, so I mean, and it's also combat with a Ballistus Dreadnought, so there's a lot of, you know, there's 8 las cannons in that list right there, 2 strength 10 crack missiles, and a bunch of autocannons. You can get a Hunter Killer missile for free on this Predator Destructor, don't forget that. You got the squad of Scouts, and you've got for 10 Terminators with Cyclone missile launchers. Yeah, the Librarian gives the Cyclone missile launchers sustain as well, right? Which is pretty nice. Like, so you've got Cyclone missile launchers, so you got 4 strength 9 crack missiles, a couple of 6s there, and suddenly you got 6, right? So 10 I'm not sure about the 10 Terminators. Like if I was going to do it, I'd probably run 2 5-man Terminators and give each a Librarian potentially. But hey, I mean, it's just 10 Terminators is big. That's a big footprint to try and rapid ingress. And I think the best way you could play that unit would be indeed the rapid ingress, right? So for scoring, we've got Scouts and Outriders and 2 units of 5 jump intercessors. We've got the infiltrators. The company heroes is nice. So I guess the captain's most likely with the company heroes. Timothy, thank you so much for subscribing. We hit 16,000 subscribers today as well on the channel, so that's nice. Thank you to everyone that's subscribing. I guess we're getting a lot of new Blood Angels players or people that are excited to pick up the new box. Salatorn says, I'm coming back to Blood Angels and could use the same advice. I just put them on the shelf before the jump intercessors came out. Yeah, so I need to make a video for new players joining the ranks of the Blood Angels based on when the new Codex comes out. So I'll make, like, when the new Codex comes out, I'll probably have 50 videos in the tank to make. It'll be easy for me, so... but I've never really made that video for my channel before that's like, welcome to the Blood Angels, this is what you should start with. But I think I will make it, because as much as it doesn't help all our existing players, it will help a bunch of new players that will grow the community, and that, you know, that's only a good thing as well, I guess. So 10 Terminators led by Librarian. They can actually do a crap load of damage if they get into combat, and if you could find the space to rapid ingress them. You've got 3 pretty strong shooting units in the Destructor, the Ballistas, and the Land Raider. You've got the Infiltrators for the backfield. What did he say was in the Land Raider? The company heroes in the Land Raider with the Blade Guard. Okay, so the Blade Guard are on lead, but the captain's leading the company heroes. That's very cool. You've got 10 Assault Intercessors with jump packs. You could potentially put them into reserve as well and have the 2 5s on the board. That gives you another sort of Alpha Strike from reserve. Yeah, I mean, I guess he doesn't have any Death Company. He doesn't have any Sanguinary Guard. I guess that's probably a conscious decision because we're not really sure what's happening with those units, and the other units are still going to be there. I guess the question is, there might be a play here where, like, you split that Terminator squad into 5. Maybe you lose some of your jump intercessors and get, like, some of these new strong Sanguinary Guard, or it depends on what Death Company are coming out. I think that I would like to see. I think the only thing I don't like about this list is I think I would like to see at least one powerful jump pack unit, right? Because I think when the game gets strung out, right, when you get into turn 4 or 5 as a Blood Angels player, usually what will win you the game is having, like, a pretty full strength jump pack unit that can do 2 damage per swing with each attack, like in melee combat, right? Like, when I went to the GT just recently that I won, basically in, I think, like 4 of the games, the Sanguinary Guard coming down in turn 3 and, like, sweeping across the board, killing everything they charged into,
Gary O'Neill donated
a bunch of the games, right?
99 pence via Super Chat. A starters list would be cool for my wee man. At the moment I just 10 Assault Intercessors, 5 with jump packs, Dante and O Impulsor Executioner. Next.
Hey Gary, thank you so much for the $4.99. Do appreciate it. Yeah, it's a really good question, right? Where the starter list is and how. So I think probably what I need to do is build a video that's like starting with the new box set, using the new Codex, getting to 1,000 points, and how I would build it to 2,000 points, and how I'd use my recent experience of, like, winning a big tournament to build to something that's fairly competitive. But here's the thing, I don't really run meta lists, right? Like, I don't. There is a thing in Warhammer 40k where when you find a strong unit, let's say for example that 10 Death Company with Power Fists, some people just go like, they're the best unit, let's just run 3 of them. I don't really do that. I prefer to not that I don't want to have a strong list, right? I just don't I'm not the sort of player that's ever spammed the 3 of this, because there was a time in 9th edition where the strongest list was like 3 units of Death Company, 3 units of Sanguinary Guard, 3 units of Assault Intercessors, and that was your whole army, right? It was like 3 times 3 units. But I never ran it just because I prefer to, like, balance and buy lots of different units, and I only get limited time. I don't want to spend it all painting the same units over and over and over, I guess. So yeah, I mean, the thing that, looking at what you just said you bought, Infiltrators are a go-to in every single one of my lists for competitive play. Infiltrators, and if you buy the box of infiltrators, you actually get to build 2 squads of infiltrators, or a squad of infiltrators and a squad of incursors. They're both pretty useful. And then the other thing that I've been doing recently is company heroes. I think they're very good. Impulsors are really good. I think you said impulsor executioner. I think you mean repulsor executioner. So impulsors are very, very strong for Blood Angels at the moment, as are captains on foot are very, very strong. I think there might be a bit of a resurgence with Blade Guard with the new Codex as well. But yeah, we're a bit of limbo. The new pre-order for Blood Angels is next Saturday. If you can afford it, I know it's going to be quite expensive, but if you can afford it, that big box with like Lamartes, Astaroth, the Brutalis Dreadnought, which I guess is a Death Company Dreadnought, and like the 20 other Assault Marines, it's going to be a good shout for any Blood Angels player, especially if a new player is wanting to start. That's not going to be a bad place to start with at all. Yeah, so I think this list, I think you were in the chat, Christoph. I think the one thing I would say, Christoph, and I think this is going to be relevant even after the new release comes out, is like having one unit of jump units that can do a lot of killing. And I think that's probably right now it's the Death Company. I think it's going to pivot to the Sangre Guard. So I think that having at least one unit of the Sangre Guard led by something so that they can actually do a lot of killing and being put in reserve every single game with the intent to rapid ingress them every single game. Rapid ingress them to basically take out your opponent's biggest threat. Right? You react to it, you take out their biggest threat, and then after that, you start jumping from objective to objective, killing everything. I really think that's one of the reasons that you can win a lot of games with Blood Angels. And Terminators really don't let you do that. Terminators let you rapid ingress maybe and roll over one big bad threat. But once those Terminators are on an objective, it's going to take them at least 2 turns probably to get to another objective, because you're probably not going to want to advance them because you probably want to shoot them. So in that case, they're only moving 5 inches. So that's possibly why I'm like, if you are dead set on running Terminators, 2 squads is maybe better, because then you can put them in 2 different places, right? Because one 10-man squad, 10-man squad will come down with a Librarian. Yes, for sure, they will kill something. Then you've got a 10-man brick on an objective that's not really going to be able to threaten another objective, because they're going to take 2 or even 3 turns to reach another objective, whereas your jump pack units usually do that in 1 turn. Do you think Death Company with jets will be used in lists going forward without Infernal Pistols and Power Fists? It says DM. Yes, I think they will be used. I think they'll be cheaper, and I think they'll be I think they'll be cheaper, and I think they'll be used much differently. Like, I think they'll be much more disposable units. They're not going to be able to kill anything like they can kill right now. I mean, if they've got an Eviscerator, maybe they'll be useful. But I think the age of because right now where we are is most of the time I recommend to people is take 15 Death Company with Power Fists and Infernal Pistols. And if we go back edition, like 1 edition, everybody was recommending you do Death Company like with 10 of them with Thunder Hammers, right? So I think we've probably had 4 or 5 years now of like, you always need at least 10 or 15 Death Company, you always need at least Thunder Hammers or Power Fists. I guess that's totally gone now, right? Or it will be totally gone in like 2 weeks with the new Codex. Thank you so much for becoming a member, though, Elrask, and thanks for submitting the list. I hope I give you some useful advice there. Okay, let's move on to Dylan's list. And yeah, so we're getting towards the end of the list. This is the last list for tonight. So if you guys enjoyed tonight's stream, please leave a like. If you want to get your list on the show in the future, just put it in the comment section after the show ends. And I mean, I'm going to be live a few times, like as they release all the new Blood Angel stuff over the next few weeks. I will be live. I'll talk about it all. I'll make videos on how to best use the new Death Company, how to best use the new Sangre Guard, how to best get started. I'll probably even make a video on Combat Patrol, even though I'm not the hugest advocate of Combat Patrol. I might even play Combat Patrol one time on the channel, just as an introduction to Combat Patrol, how to play. Who knows what I'm going to do, but I'm here every week. this week actually had a video out 6 of the 7 days. The only day I missed was Tuesday, I think. So I'm here all the time, and I'll answer any questions whenever I'm live, or I try to read most of the comments I get on the channel. So if you do have a question, please leave it. But if you are ever given if you become a green name, join us in the members only Discord. I'm there literally every day. And there's other really knowledgeable people in the members only Discord, right? So it's like, if I can't answer the question, someone there will help you out for sure. You're most welcome for the feedback, Elris, no problem. Mike says, don't forget the main Blood Angels Codex release isn't for a while, so even though we will have it in the FOMO box, its contents won't yet be legal or live. Yeah, but that doesn't stop me making videos on how to use stuff, Mike, I guess. When will I have the Codex for review? I'll have it the exact same day as you guys, because I probably have it after, because deliveries to Scotland suck, and it always takes ages for me to get the Codex, unfortunately. So I'll probably have it after you guys. I mean, I'll order it next Saturday, the same as all of you. I don't get any preview copies or anything from Games Workshop. I gotta grow to. I believe Games Workshop only work with creators that have 40,000 subscribers, is the rumor I heard. So, I got a long way to go. The police won't arrest you for using the book. Good point. Good point, Marius. So yeah, I guess I'll probably use the points costs in the book and see what I can work on from there. Is there a reason why people prefer Bowel Predators over Lancers? I notice people prefer 2 Predators. I think it's just because Bowel Predators completely shut down any infantry movement, and a lot of people use infantry to claim midfield object. Like, people like to use cheap infantry to claim objectives, to do actions, to score points, and Bowel Predators can shut that down pretty hard. I'm not a Bowel Predator player myself, but I can understand why people use it, and I think that's the reason, really, because they just completely shut down infantry movement, because basically they can fire twice, right? Because of the Overwatch and the fact that the main cannon is D6+3, so it's typically 6 auto hits or 6.5 auto hits at -2/2 damage, and it's good strength. Like, if you're playing against, like, Eldar, it'd be all wounding on 2s. So you're just rolling 6 dice, wounding on 2s, -2/2 damage. That kills a lot of friggin' Eldar. And that's before you even factor in that there's 2 more heavy flamers on there, right? Especially if you can shoot in your turn, and you can shoot again when they move. Okay, let's look at Dylan's list. So he is running some... So it's been 5... Do you know what? It's going to be nice to have some more detachments. Because it feels like every week it's like, 5 Sons of Sanguinius detachments. So we only have to wait 3 more weeks and we get 2 more detachments. So that's going to be exciting. Alright, so we've got a captain, heavy bolt pistol, mastercrafted power weapon, relic shield. So this is the captain that leads the Blade Guard, I believe. He's got Artisan of War on that captain. He's got 2 chaplains with jump packs. He's got Dante, and he's got the Sanguinor. Interesting. So my tournament list ran 2 chaplains with jump packs and Dante, and a captain. So I had these 4 characters in my tournament list. Well, I mean, the captain's loadout was slightly different, but that was my loadout for my tournament list. So we've got the Sanguinor in there. We've got 2 5-man Assault Intercessors. We've got 2 Impulsors. So that gives us the double Impulsor, 1 with a captain. That's very meta. It's very strong. You've got Assault Intercessors with jump packs ×2. You've got Death Company 5 ×2. Again, this is precisely what I had in my tournament list. I had 2 Death Company with jump packs led by 2 chaplains. I had 2 Assault Intercessor units. I had the squad of Infiltrators. I actually ran 2 Predator Destructors. He's run 2 Annihilators. Slightly different there. More anti-tank on the Annihilators, I guess, than the Destructors. He's got the 10 Sanguinor Guard led by Dante. He's got the squad of Scout. Do you know what? This is like a carbon copy of my tournament list. So... let me think for a second. So I didn't have the Sanguinor or 2 Impulsors. I had Company Heroes instead of the Assault Intercessors. I had a Ballistus Dreadnought. And then I had some Outriders. I'm trying to... So there's like 3 differences, right? The Ballistus is the exact same points as the Sanguinor. The Outriders are the exact same points as these two. And that's it. That's and then So and basically because he had an enhancement on that character, I used the 20 points he spent on the enhancement to change one of those into Outriders. Interesting. Okay. So this is a super difficult list for me to be objective on because it's 90% the same list that I won the GT with, right? I think 10 Death Company led by 2 chaplains is super strong. I think infiltrators are super useful for holding a backfield objective. I think Dante and 10 Sanguinary Guard are amazing at killing elites, but they need to be rapid ingress because they have no survivability. So you need to be bringing them in from rapid ingress, jumping forward, shooting 11 Infernal Pistols, charging a unit, killing that unit, and hopefully being out of line of sight from a lot of opponents. The Scouts perform actions. The Annihilators give you some anti-tank. The Assault Intercessors perform actions and do a little bit of trading, scoring. The Impulsor does actions and drops off like the Captain plus the Assault Intercessors. And then I guess the second unit of Assault Intercessors again maybe does some scoring or something like that. And then the Sanguinar reacts. So I actually think this is a very good tournament list. I don't know how to change it though, right? Like, I literally don't think it can be changed much because, like, the reason he's gone for Lancers over the Destructors is because he's added the Sanguinar, which dropped the Ballistus Dreadnought. So my list, by having the Ballistus Dreadnought, gives me some more las cannons. So his list gives him a little bit more like combat reaction. I went for the Company Heroes because I think they're a bit more tanky than the Assault Intercessors on foot, but then you've got the Sanguinar, so the Assault Intercessors can be protected by the Sanguinar potentially. The Impulsors are good, they score units. The Jump Pack Intercessors are good, they score stuff. The Scouts give you sort of like some early pressure or scoring again, so this is a good list. I'm not sure this Captain's loadout is the best. Like, I think he's probably just... Maybe it's fine. Yeah, I mean, maybe it's fine to have a Mastercrafted Power Rep. What does the Relic Shield give the Captain? +1 wound. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, giving the Captain 1 more wound over having the Plasma Pistol is probably fine as well. You could lose that Artisan of War, and you could have had a squad of Company Heroes. There's so little difference between, you know, like by having the Company Heroes, the Captain will be surviving a little bit more because the Assault Intercessors because he'll have 1 more wound, but the Company Heroes are more survivable than the Assault Intercessors. So there's about the only tweak, I think, is Artisan. Well, he's only spent 1995 points. Yeah, so if I had to make one change, then I think I would drop Artisan of War. I'm pretty sure Artisan of War is 15 points. Right? It's been a hot minute since I used Artisan of War, though. Oh, I'm in the wrong detachment here. Blood Angel, Sons of Sanguinius. Like I said, it's going to be nice to get some more detachments. Artisan of War is 20 points. Yeah, so if the only change I would make in this list was I would give up Artisan of War. And I would take... I would make one of these squads of Assault Intercessors Company Heroes, just because when you do the maths, Company Heroes literally have 2 times the survivability against like 90% of enemy damage. So, 1 more wound. Yes, I suppose it's nice to have a AP3 power sword. Yeah, no, you have... Yeah, I don't like this. I would rather have a power fist than the power sword on here. Yeah, so I think if this was me, then I would make one change here. I would give this Captain a power fist. I would lose Artisan of War, and I would upgrade one of these squads because I think it is an upgrade. Definitely in survivability, that upgrade is massive to Company Heroes. And if you're not convinced by that, then there was a video that I made. The thumbnail looks exactly like this. Company Heroes versus Assault Intercessors. Did it like 3 weeks ago. Have a look at that video. Assault Intercessors point for point will give you the most damage, 100%. But if you're at the end of a list like this, where you're trying to like spend 20 points, and if you're trying to spend 20 points, I think there's a lot worse 20 points you could spend than a squad of company heroes, because there's 16 wounds versus the 10 wounds, and they're -1 to wound the entire time. So with those 6 extra wounds, and the fact that they're 4 wounds a model, which makes them kind of like even better against 3 damage weapons as well, like autocannons, they're really effective against, or anything that does 3 damage. And the fact they're -1 to wound as well is big, right? Like, because like, let's say you're fighting orcs and they're hitting you with all those ridiculous amount of strength 10 power fists, then they're suddenly wounding on 3s rather than 2s. It makes a big difference, right? Like if they're hitting you with 10 strength 10 power fists and they're wounding on 2s, that's a lot of saves. If they're wounding on 3s, well, maybe they have one bad roll and not too many guys die. So Dylan's list is pretty good, but I would maybe just make that one little change there. So that is it. That is it for this week, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you to everybody that's been here, liked the stream, etc., etc. You can leave your list in the comments. I'll get back to you next week. The pre-order for New Blood Angels is next Saturday morning, so if that's something you're considering doing, then I guess set an alarm right now so you don't forget. And I'll be live at some point this week, possibly multiple times actually, to just talk about New Blood Angels, talk about some of the new reveals, make some videos about that. And yeah, I do hope the FOMO box isn't super limited and difficult to get as well, for sure, Mike. So you're going to have to be ready on Saturday morning if you want that box, I guess. I don't know how many... I have no idea how many boxes they're going to have, but yeah, hopefully it's something that's going to be reasonably accessible, and it's not going to sell out super quickly. So, what are your random thoughts on using incursors to support tanks in an SOS list? So I really liked incursors last edition. When their knives had AP1, I felt like they were really good for Blood Angels. Right now, with AP0, I feel like it's really hard to get excited about AP0 stuff, because inevitably you run into opponents with like 2-up, 3-up saves, and AP0 is not good. So it'll be local time, Alex. So if you're in America, then it'll be 10 a.m. America. Like they released it worldwide local time, I believe. So you're not going to have to get up at 3 a.m. to get it. You just need to be there at 10 a.m. of your local time. But yeah, so I think it's going to... Incursors will depend on if Blood Angels get an easier way to get 1 AP, right? Like if we get a stratagem that can just give a unit 1 AP, or we get a detachment ability that gives us 1 AP, or we've got... Maybe Blood Angels Incursors will be... maybe Blood Angels Incursors will be like a positive good choice. Again... if you go back to 9th edition, Blood Angels players, every competitive Blood Angels player in 9th edition, for a long time in 9th edition, was running like 2 or 3 squads of Incursors. They were very meta for Blood Angels. They just haven't been in 10th edition. But here's the thing, anything that... sometimes these units... Aggressors are a good example, in that like Aggressors came out, super popular, then they had no play for like a couple of years. Then they got a lot of play again, and now they have no play again. So like some of these Primaris units bounce between... Sorry, I got something in my eye. It's probably... well, I know what it is. It's a fucking eyelash. They bounce between being very competitive or and getting lots of play, or being not competitive and getting no play. So I think Incursors right now are in that no play section. They don't need much. It's almost like those Infernus Marines we were talking like. If Infernus Marines got 1 AP, I think they would get quite a bit of play. So that, like, Incursors are probably in the same boat, right? Like, if they just had 1 AP, then they might get some play. Yeah, I know they give +1 as a shooting buff, which argues the fact that maybe you want 1 squad of them, Like one, if you're running some fire support units, like maybe if you've got some Brutalis dreadnoughts in the new list or something, or some Death Company dreadnoughts, and you want them to do lots of damage with their melta-guns, you could argue like one squad of incursors could actually be very useful. But right now it's kind of up and down. We're not entirely sure. No tears, John. Aggressors will come back one day. Yeah, I mean mine are fully painted, so they're ready to go. Do people proxy Bile Predators with newer tanks? I think the newer tanks are bigger. I haven't seen many people proxy the Bile Predators. You might be able to just buy like a regular Predator though, and then change the turret or get a 3D printed turret or something like that. So I'm going to have to go because I promised my wife I'd be downstairs at 9:15, and if it take too much longer then I'll get shot and there won't be any streams this week. So enjoy your Sunday, guys. Thanks so much for hanging out. Please leave a like on the stream before you head off, and I will see you probably multiple times this week. So because I think we're going to get at least one Warhammer community post, and I'll try and come up with that idea. What was the idea? Scoring units masterclass. I'll write that down, Alex. Thanks so much for the super. Thanks to everybody that is a new member and all the super chats. Do really appreciate it. So I'll see you guys sometime this week for sure. Have a great evening. Thanks so much for watching. Catch you next time.